Let's go on to The Guardian then, and a story that's actually on many of the front pages, but it was embargoed until midnight, so we couldn't tell anyone about it. But
everyone's taking the embargo.
Well, David Cameron broke the embargo, actually. Codebreaker Turing is given posthumous royal pardon, Clark. This a reflection, really, of what was a pretty terrible legal situation as far as homosexuality was concerned back when he was alive, but also a reflection of his huge role in contributing to winning the Second World War.
Yeah, this is it's a magnificent gesture, you know, for a gentleman who was pivotal in turning about the fortunes of which way the World War would come out. But we share actually differing views on this, because although this is something that we do see that is fully justified because of how ridiculous, you know, the laws were on homosexuality, that's down to our perception in our modern understanding, you know, and how we view life and how we view equality. I think that if we're going to start to look over all of the incidents that have happened historically and start to you know, change the outcome and posthumously change decisions that were made throughout history, then the Queen's going to be incredibly busy doling out pardon after pardon.
And rightly so. We've got a lot to atone for. I mean, look, I have to say, I've had about an hour to think about this story, and I'm probably going to go a bit off script here, because I think what I'm supposed to do is go, this is a great feel-good story. We're finally laying to rest an injustice, let's all move on. I don't buy it, actually. This is a man, firstly, if we just look at him himself, his contribution in World War II, who helped shorten the war by up to 2 years, possibly saving the lives of millions of people. What happened to him? He was persecuted by the state, driven, he was chemically castrated, and then driven to suicide. He doesn't deserve a pardon. He deserves a royal grovelling for what that government and what the laws of the day did to him. And it doesn't matter, actually, whether he is the hero that he is, and he is a hero. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's an unknown gay man, airbrushed out of history, people who we don't even know their names, whose lives were mercilessly ruined and destroyed because they were persecuted just because of the people they happened to fall in love with. That is a grave and disgraceful blot on the history of this country, and a pardon is not enough. What we need now is the overturning of all of these convictions of people whose lives were trashed, as a mark of the fact that we have people, LGBT people, struggled against these laws at great sacrifice to themselves. People who are often spat at in the streets, sent to prison and all the rest of it. They fought against these laws, and the least we can do to those people is to show as a country we've moved on, we've put a huge mark under that injustice, and we are purging it by saying that those laws were wrong, unjust and disgusting. And that is what we should do. We should overturn all of them.
It's interesting, isn't it, Clark? Because Peter Tatchell, the gay rights campaigner, says that, you know, there should be other pardons for other people who were treated shabbily as a result of the ban on homosexuality during that time. Would a blanket pardon for all these people be fitting, do you think?
Well, it would be fitting, yeah. And just like Owen said, you know, it's it highlights how far we've come in that time. But then surely that downplays the individuality of each person. You know, it kind of dehumanizes the individual. So if you're going to open this box, which they have now done, then this is going to be the beginning of an incredibly long road.
It's part of reconciliation, though, I think. I think we need to have truth. I mean, that's what they called it in South Africa, truth and reconciliation. And in the same way, you know, they didn't look back at the apartheid laws and go, well, you know, things were different back then. They accepted that those laws were unjust, they were wrong, and they had to have truth and reconciliation. And I think we need that same process when we look at our own injustices, which was literally the destruction of people's lives. These people's lives were ruined. And people's lives now are still ruined because of the hangover of that period, when it was acceptable to see LGBT people as inferior human beings who deserve to be sent to prison. We still suffer from that legacy, and I think part of coming to terms with it, we're finally coming to terms and becoming a nation where, you know, we treat each other, whether we're straight or gay or bisexual or transgender, equally. We've still got a way to go, a long way to go. But part of that, we need to come to terms with that past, and reconciliation means overturning all of these unjust convictions.
All right, okay.